Welcome back to the channel. This is The Casuals. I'm Jin.
And I'm Saki.
And today's episode is Time We're Not Getting Back Minecraft. And maybe Craftopia if we get to it. But this one's gonna be slightly different from our, previous Time We're Not Getting Back videos. In that we're not necessarily gonna talk about the adventures we had on Minecraft just because they aren't like that exciting to talk about in the first place. They're more casual, but I do want to bring up I guess kind of like a issue with Minecraft that I think many people tend to have these days. It's really dependent on, how do you say it? Really dependent on the type of people you're playing with, but and what you do with the game. But I feel like this is more common with people who just play vanilla Minecraft, right? Nothing added to it, no modifications whatsoever, no challenges in place. And the biggest issue is Minecraft doesn't have a lot to do outside its building hubris. And I think I don't know, how do you feel about this in terms of this statement? Like, Minecraft doesn't have much outside of its building mechanics, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, you just build. I mean, there is a story, but once you're done with that, all you do is really build. There's nothing else really to it.
Yeah, and I remember watching a video about this. The guy actually did a really good job explaining why Minecraft feels too boring. It's because it's so stagnant on progression. And so the issue here is that Minecraft has a very linear progression the way it happens, right? You start in a world, you get, your wood axe, wood pickaxe, or just wood axe, whatever. And then you get stone, and you make stone pickaxe, and then you look for iron, and then you get the iron pickaxe and whatever, iron upgrades, and then you look for diamonds, and you get your diamond stuff, right? And then after that, you go for the, netherite, and you get your netherite. And that's the issue, is that, there's a lot of things in between that can be ignored when you're going through that progression. Like gold, you can ignore completely until you get to netherite. And even then, gold is not an issue. And so, like, emeralds don't really have that much relevance in terms of just getting to the end game content. You don't need it at all, so emerald's kind of irrelevant. And so when you have these checkpoints that are so close together in terms of time to progress, you're suddenly at the end very fast and you have nothing else to do. There's no end game content outside of the end cities, with all the endermen and trying to find elytras, but once you get that, you're done. And the guy points out a lot of other things, like elytras completely invalidated the use of traveling by rail cars or by horse, by boat. Pretty much elytra just invalidated all of that, and you can get that pretty easily just by going to the end. And he said the netherite was one thing that was actually good because it was like an end game kind of content slash like item that you had to work for quite a while in order to obtain it. And they did modify how you get it now in order to make it harder, so you can't just zoom in to getting netherite. But for the longest time when we were playing Minecraft, it was fairly easy to get all the material or all the like upgrades, don't you say?
Yeah, you could get it within like an hour, I would say. At least up to diamond.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not much of a challenge, I guess.
Yeah. And so if we were to look at it in like kind of like a timeline graph, right? Wood is at the beginning, iron is second, gold is completely skipped, it's an optional thing. Diamond is next, and then it's netherite. It's all pretty compact at the very start to middle. But what happens to the end game, right? There is no end game in Minecraft. The end game is you literally build. And so this is where a problem occurs for a lot of people, I would say. Some of you may, say, or some of you may argue, like, you're playing Minecraft to build stuff, right? If you want to go fight or like get armor or anything, play Terraria. That is a completely valid point. However, there are people who still enjoy Minecraft and do want some sort of end game content in order for them to be more entertained, so that they stick around longer. Because I find the most common thing is people suddenly want to play Minecraft, right? You're like, oh, hey, let's play Minecraft. You all play Minecraft for like 2 days, 3 days, or even like 2 weeks or 1 week. And after that, you're just like, okay, I'm done. I got all the netherite, I got all the diamonds. I built one building. Like, I have no motivation to go on anymore. Like, there's no other challenge left. I mean, the only challenging bosses that there would be the Wither, the End Dragon, and the what's it called? The Guardian. The Guardian it was made to
Warden.
be a Warden. Sorry, I thank you for
Yeah,
correcting me on
Warden.
that. The Warden was made to be practically unkillable. And you could cheese it by just setting up a ton of TNT, but like at that point it loses its purpose. It's the Warden is not guarding anything in particularly good. Like, he's not guarding any new armor set that can only be obtained by completing, like, defeating the Guardian and then moving on to his treasure chest or anything. There's
Warden.
nothing like that. Or Warden, sorry, I keep on saying Guardian. And so when we were playing, we had no reason to seek out the Warden, right?
Yeah, honestly, we didn't. You didn't even. You just what? Do a wither to get a beacon to make things a little like more convenient. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, yeah, you shave off a couple minutes of collecting material. It's not really like super important.
And
I think even people are just trying to see how fast they could beat the game at this point.
yeah, and there's been plenty of speedruns going on these days. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, I think almost sub like 15 minutes, I believe, which is crazy. Because there's no even real glitch that's happening. You're literally just running around going like crazy, because that's I think like a testament to how little there is to progress in the beginning, and how the end game you reach the end game already so fast within 15 minutes. That's a problem.
Yeah, I would say so.
It is.
Yeah, I would say it's a huge problem because yeah, like the speedrunners, they don't even get armor or like they make like one weapon and then they just beat the dragon really quick and it's like, okay, well, now what? You just beat their entire game within 15 minutes.
Yeah, you might as well just refund it at that point, Theoretically, you can if you were to perfect that kind of speed run. And going back to the Warden, the only thing you're really getting from the Warden in his territory are the Skulkers, right? They're called the Skulkers?
Yeah, but you don't even go for that. You go mainly for the new music disc.
Yeah.
And then the new enchantment, or not really new anymore, but the Swift Sneak or whatever, where
Yeah.
you're crouching and you walk faster or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, why would you go for that though, outside of the music, right? Yeah, there's a cool new redstone application with the Skulkers, but really, who's gonna go do that, right? It's a headache to figure out because it sends out kind of like a circular range signal that activates any redstone or any applicable thing that reacts to redstone. So you kind of have to isolate your build from other potential interactions in order to make your build intention work the way you want with the Skulker. So that in itself is kind of pointless. People are just gonna stick with the regular old redstone stuff, and that kind of method has also existed pre-Skulker, which is where you use a pufferfish, and you put a tripwire hook over it, and if you walk near it, the pufferfish will puff up and activate the tripwire hook, activating your, redstone contraption. So already that niche has already existed and serves no purpose of really replacing anything. It's just an alternative that people don't want to bother, because again, why would you want to go into the Warden's territory? 90% of the time, you don't want to try and farm for the Skulkers for your life. And as Saki said, you're probably only going to go for the music disc and maybe that one enchantment. And so it's pretty hard, because I know this has happened to us like a few times now where we played Minecraft together, where it's like, all right, we got our stuff and we build stuff, and then we're kind of like losing motivation. It happens a lot.
Oh yeah, because like once you kind of get your objective completed, you're kind of like, okay, now I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
There's not really anything else for me to do. I did what I wanted.
And some may say this is where you mod Minecraft, right? It's like, oh, this is where the mods come in, right? And it's like, yeah, mods are great and all, you know. Mods add a ton of content by the community. Mods do liven up the game and the scene. I would say the most fairly popular way to play Minecraft in an online setting is modded Minecraft. However, there are two issues I would like to point out, and that is one, no matter how safe it may seem, no matter how reliable the hosting of or like the creations of the mods are, it is still there's always, it's called the Murphy's Law, I think, right? If it can happen, it will happen.
Think so.
I'm pretty sure that is what it is, Murphy's Law. And it did happen. Where a very popular Minecraft modding website that allows you to download the resource packs for, you know, said mods for Minecraft ended up having someone bypass their security and upload basically what is an infected jar file and infect many people's computers. I think about a couple hundred to 1,000. That's still a lot because it basically took all your card information, all your login credentials and everything. If it was successfully if it successfully infected your computer, right? And for us, you know, me and Saki, we're kind of old. We don't want to deal with that worry. And if, like, you know, that potential problem ever does happen, theoretically, it's a headache and a nightmare to figure out how to, like, you know, solve the problem. And it's a whole bunch of troublesome things to go through in order just to fix, you know, that one mess up that we happened to do where we accidentally downloaded, you know, an infected you know, pack or something like that when we were modding Minecraft, right? And then, you know, you can always argue, oh, it should be you should be diligent in, you know, checking this kind of stuff. Yeah, you can argue that, but at the same time, if it is a trusted website, you know, I think most people aren't gonna constantly check, oh, trusted website, you know? Do you agree in this kind of sentiment? I feel like this is what we basically feel like in terms of modded Minecraft.
Yeah, I agree. I remember we were gonna try to mod it, and then you found that thing you were just talking about, and you're like, maybe not anymore.
Maybe not anymore. It seems like vanilla is the way to go.
Yeah, you were literally just about to do it, and you're like, let me Google it really quick. And then like 2 minutes later, you're like, yep, nope, never mind.
It just happened to be an incredible timing during that time when the news broke out for it. But yeah, and also another issue I have with Minecraft, right, is that 99% of the time you're gonna have to get a third-party hosting website to host your servers. There's two issues with that. One, it costs money, and two, they don't save your world. So if that service ends, you know, you can't go back to them and be like, hey, can I reboot my world and have everything in it? They're gonna be like, nope, your server's wiped because we need to make space for new servers, right? And that itself sucks, because then you're pressured to play the game, you know? Because you paid for it.
Or keep paying for it, yeah.
Yeah. It's not a very pleasant situation, especially when you want to just, you know, come back to it whenever you want. This is why a lot of people say single player is the way to go, right? You don't need to worry about your progression. It'll always be there, back then at least. These days it's kind of getting more BS because they're like, oh, you have to be online, you have to be connected to the internet to play a single player game. It's like, really? I have to be online to play a single player game? It worked before it, why do I need it now, you know? And that's a whole different issue that we can talk about. But yeah, it's not pleasant. We've had a Minecraft server. We paid for a 3-month option just because it was cheaper overall if we were gonna play that long. And it should be expiring soon. And there is a way to save your Minecraft server data in order to upload it again, world data in order to upload it again. Which I'll probably do just in case, but it takes a long time. Long process, kind of tedious at times. There's no simple thing as like download it. For some reason, I don't know why, but yeah, it just feels, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's almost like a lose-lose situation in that case. And how do you feel about that kind of, like, you know, situation that we're in with Minecraft being, you know, the way it is in terms of multiplayer or like people playing together?
I honestly think if you're playing Minecraft, well, at least for me, if I'm playing Minecraft, single player, I get bored within like maybe 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It does not take that long for me to be like, I open the game, loaded the world, look around for a second, and be like, yeah, no, I don't want to play anymore, and you just exit out.
Yep. Especially when you've accomplished all the things you already wanted to accomplish.
Exactly, yeah, but at least if, you have friends, uh, you could like, mess around or help them build whatever they want in your world if you're okay with that. But the multiplayer part, like, I feel like Minecraft, you don't have to, but I feel like you have to play multiplayer.
Yeah. I feel like that's most people the way people play. It's not you have to, but it's almost like if you want a good experience for the most part, you're gonna want to play with like other people.
Oh,
And
most definitely.
yeah, and they kind of restrict that behind either you go to public servers where it has like hundreds of players in there, um, which is not fun, just random players all around, and you have to do all these complicated things like there's a lot of rules where you can't build certain places or you have to like claim the land, you have to do some currency. I get that that's a fun for some people, but for others it's not necessarily that fun, because they want to get started right away, and all these rules that are in place don't let you get started right away. Not to like you know badmouth all these public servers. They're good for a reason, or they're good for what it's worth. But for people like us, me and Saki, we'd rather just have our own private kind of server that doesn't necessarily get interfered by random people in the internet. So yeah. And
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
and so this brings us to like the next topic, which is Craftopia. So recently I introduced Saki to Craftopia. I just showed it on Steam, like, hey, you want to like try this game out? I played it before. And the reason why I even introduced it was because I had played Craftopia before, but it's been well over a year since I last played. But suddenly Craftopia just suddenly said we're doing a major overhaul to the game in terms of like how it plays out. I myself had no idea what the game was, changing because I hadn't touched it for a year or anything like that. And I just thought, because the way Minecraft plays out, I just thought, some kind of like, Craftopia is essentially a ripoff of a lot of games, Minecraft, what's it called, Fortnite even at times, Legend of Zelda, very clearly.
Uh, yeah, that's like blatant.
It's pretty blatant, I'll tell you. Pokemon even, you'll see why. uh, just a lot of games in general.
I want to say even like Animal Crossing to an extent.
Yeah, I would say so too. Um, and so it's just basically a mishmash of every game, but it was cheap. I think it was less than $20. Because it was on sale during that time. But I was just like, hey, you want to play together the new update? Technically, it's gonna be like a new game almost to me because I haven't experienced the game, or it's gonna be a completely revamped kind of like situation. So I'll be learning along the ways with you, and yeah, Craftopia is what I would like to say more ideal in terms of what it offers, as a game for you more than Minecraft.
Yeah, I enjoyed Craftopia probably like way more than I do with Minecraft. Minecraft's fun, but again, you get bored after a couple minutes. Well, at least for me. But Craftopia, even though technically if you're done with like whatever, they have, because technically I've done everything they have. I still kind I still want to get on and keep playing. Like, even though I'm done, I still like want to do stuff.
And just to add in, you've been majorly playing the game alone. We started out playing together, but there was a lot of times where I couldn't play with you, or I was distracted by something else, and so you ended up playing alone. And I think you've logged more than like 40. I want to say almost 40 more hours than I have in total of you playing solo.
Yeah, I grinded that game. Like hardcore grind in that game.
and you still enjoy it, which is kind of a testament in itself, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I still enjoy playing the game, even though, like I said, I'm done with all the objectives. But I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just like it keeps drawing me back. I don't know what it is, but
I think for one, there's objectives, you know, actual given objectives saying, hey, I have something for you to do, go do it for me, you know? And both of us do well in objective type games, which is why I think we enjoyed Borderlands 2 so much. Um, that was one of the reasons. And the second one would be it's kind of just, you know, a more artistic environment, I would say. Minecraft is mainly made up of blocks, you know, square blocks, um, and other things that are restricted to that square block kind of, I guess, boundaries rather. Yeah, boundaries. And so you're kind of constantly looking at rectangles most of the time, or squares most of the times, which in that end gets
almost all
tiring.
the
Yeah, it gets tiring, you know. So I think you having that, you know, actual like terrain, actual like non-blocky things to look
yeah,
at.
that does make a huge difference. Because yeah, after a while staring at blocks, you're like, oh my gosh, it's just it all looks the same to you.
Yeah, and I think the third biggest factor are, well, the combat really, um, and mobs combined. Combat, there's a variety of things you can do with combat. There's one-handed swords, two-handed swords, a one-handed sword and shield combo. There are spears, there are bows, which you particularly like using.
Yes, well, just because usually in games I do like, sniping,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess the bow is the closest thing
Mm-hmm.
to sniping since the game really doesn't have like very many like I want to say guns. There are guns, but they're not very good right now just because
Mm-hmm.
they're still brand new to the game. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess yeah, archery is the closest to sniping for me.
Yeah. And you know, there's also magic in the game, lifestyle magic, which is a completely subset of its own, and lifestyle skills. And so there's a variety of things you can, you know, kind of experiment, you know, feel out other things, you know. And there's no real penalty for resetting the skills. You don't pay up and you don't pay up a fee. You literally just get to reset for free. Um, and so it's really nice, you know, having that kind of second option, you know. There's still a lot of building aspects. There's a lot of automation aspects in the game, but you know, combat is, you know, also an added bonus, I would say. Um, and I want to say another thing that makes it so enjoyable is, well, one, you don't need to ever worry about. There's no like, how do you say it? Expiration date for, you know, Craftopia for you. Um, because you're the one that hosts the game. You know, it's free. You host a game, and I can just join in whenever, or you can just play by yourself. You know, there's no, and if you decide to stop for a while, you know, in Craftopia, you can always come back and expect all your things to be exactly the way it was when you left it. And I think that kind of like, you know, that kind of burden being lifted off your shoulders is a nice thing.
Yeah, I agree because let's just say, I get bored of the game and, I'll wait for the next update. Who knows when that's going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And so like when it finally does happen, I'll be like, "Oh, I'll just come back and I'm back to where I was, I don't have to start over. I don't lose any. There's no penalty, which is
Yeah.
really nice."
In Minecraft Online multiplayer, if there's a big major update that we're going to play and I happen to don't save my previous world that we were in and upload it into the servers, well, you know, tough out of luck, we have to restart again, you know? Uh, that's not fun. You lose all your progress that you made during those time. But in Craftopia, that issue doesn't happen because he can simply, as long as he doesn't, you know, his computer doesn't go up in flames, you know, the world will stay exactly the same. And so that's really nice. And also, you did end up completing almost every single objective that they have given you so far in the game. And you have actually told me, and I was surprised to find this out myself, is that there are restricted areas you cannot go into because we have to wait.
Yes. I was just, kind of exploring the world map, and I got to a new area, and I was like, oh, I've never been over in this area. Let's go explore it. And then there's literally a warning says you cannot explore this area for some reason. I don't remember what it said exactly, but it's basically said you can't go here yet. And I was like, oh yeah, watch me. And so I ran into that area, and it literally just teleports you out. I was like, oh, okay, you literally can't go in there.
Yeah. And we're making the assumption that it's gonna be like update by update, you're gonna be able to explore more and more of the game. Which I guess is nice in a way because then you can't complete everything in one go and be like, all right, I'm done, and then you're like, what am I waiting for, right? It kind of gives you something to wait for, in that sense. And
Yeah,
we know. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, it gives you a little bit of like, I don't know, what's the word?
Anticipation.
Anticipation, yeah. To do the next steps whenever they, decide to drop it.
Yeah, and we know, and this is not like something like we're guessing or anything like that. Really, it's pretty much a, like, I wouldn't say it's a wild guess. It's more of a concrete guess, an educated guess, because there's a thing called age evolutions where you advance it. It's almost like Minecraft going from wood to iron, or stone to iron, and iron to diamond in that sense. But in order to do that, you cannot simply go for the diamond. You simply cannot make things out of, like, even if you obtain diamond, which you shouldn't be able to anyways, because you need a specific type of tool in order to obtain that, to obtain diamond. So in order to get to that point, you have to do things called an age evolution or age advancement. And basically, when you age evolution, it basically puts you into a new era of like tools, machinery, I guess, if there is any, new unlocks for like cosmetic, like armor or stuff like that. Basically, you unlock a whole new set of things, right? And we've already reached to the max evolution because of Yusaki. Credits to you. And there are next evolutions that there are showing, but we cannot do it because we literally the item doesn't exist yet in order to advance that evolution because the update doesn't have there needs to be an update for it. So that's why we know there's gonna be a future updates where it gives us more, I guess, at least more materials to work off with. We're not sure if it's gonna be more, more land to explore, but I mean, it seems like it that way because you've tried going to areas that are restricted, but they don't let you. So, that's why we're 100%. We're very positive that like when the time comes, there will be an update where it expands the area and also brings a new age, so we can farm new things again. And so
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just want to say one thing. Yeah, with the age progression, you get new material, like Jin said, and I think right now we're on gold, right?
yes,
Gold is like the highest.
yes,
So the next I found out would be platinum.
mm-hmm.
And so I started mining that stuff, and since I apparently have a lot of time, I was mining it, and so now I guess whenever we decide to get on when the update comes out, we should be set.
Yep.
Just 'cause I had so much extra time, because again, I did grind the crap out of that game.
You did.
It was what, like 2 weeks? We were not even playing 2 weeks. Wait, maybe 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So you've been enjoying Craftopia. I myself have enjoyed Craftopia when I played with you. Would you recommend this game to anyone else, whoever happens to be watching this video?
I would recommend it, especially if like Jin said earlier, how it's like a mishmash of other games. If you enjoyed those other games and you want to see it all in one massive game, you should definitely play.
Yeah, I'm in the same agreement as Saki. I also want to add on that it's fairly cheap, especially when it's on sale. It's less than $20, and you get all that kind of content, There are two minor issues, I would say. One, multiplayer is highly unstable. Crashing, disconnections happening all the time, bugs. Oh god, the bugs. It is littered with bugs, but yeah,
Well, at least it kind of gives you a warning in the bottom left saying you're going to experience bugs.
yeah. Because it is still in quote-unquote alpha build, surprisingly. Maybe it will forever be an alpha build. I don't know. Maybe it'll be like Subnautica where it takes years for it to come out. Who knows what the end result is? Or it may shut down because, you know, lawsuits from Nintendo might come in flying, flying in. We don't know. But right now in its current state, it is extremely buggy. They're still working on patching it. There's been a lot of updates in the past 2 weeks ever since it's released, the update itself. Constantly. Like yesterday, it had a 1 gigabyte patch, remember?
Yeah, you were mentioning that after you crashed.
Yeah, after I crashed, it was like, okay, update coming. I'm like, oh, okay. And there was a lot of bug fixes, so they're still constantly patching the game. And yeah, it's just the multiplayer experience is not smooth. I want to get this out of the way. It is not smooth. You will experience a lot of lagginess. You'll experience a lot of weirdness. I've had monsters duplicate on my screen. I've had NPCs duplicate on my screen. I've had NPCs completely bug out and not work. I mean, for the host, it's completely fine because you're the host, right? But for the connectee or the player, non-host, it's gonna be terrible, least to say. But despite all that negative, playability-wise, I still think it is a good game to play together with your friends. If you just want to try something wacky and new, that's what Craftopia is. I genuinely would recommend it. And yeah, that pretty much does it for today's episode. I don't think I have much else to talk about. Do you have anything you want to add in?
Not. I think you pretty much covered it all. I was gonna talk about the crashing and bugs and stuff, but you covered that.
Yeah, I guess that's it for now. So I'll end the episode today. I'm Jin.
And I'm Saki.
And this is The Casuals, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.